And as we watch the war in Ukraine unfold on our screens, sometimes so are our kids. They're in the room, and depending on their age, they may be mature enough to handle the information and the images. Other kids might not be able to handle it. In today's Mom Squad, Dr. Brittany Myers has some advice on how to walk your kids through this news coverage.
I would first start by saying that your kids don't live in a vacuum, so they've probably been hearing what's been happening in the Ukraine. And it's important first, when you start a conversation with your kids about this, to ask them what they know already, engaging their understanding of the situation and what they're thinking and feeling. When you do find out how they're feeling and what questions they have, validate what they're feeling and clear up any misunderstandings they may have in an age-appropriate way. When they express concerns, listen to their concerns and reassure them that they are safe. Reassure them that you're here for them and you're there to keep them safe, and emphasize that there are helpers who are working to keep people safe there.
It was all great advice in this week's podcast. Danielle Wiggins and I tackle all of this information. And most psychologists you talk to suggest no news coverage for kids under the age of 6. Again, this depends on your child's maturity. Keeping in mind that any questions they ask, they are always really wondering, am I safe? Showing them how people are helping in the crisis, talking about ways you can help. And Danielle had a great perspective. I'm glad that she and I did this together because her kids are just slightly older. And she said that she wanted her kids exposed to this news coverage and what's happening in the world because she wanted them to learn the empathy and compassion for what they're going through. And then in my household, my kids are a little bit younger. And last night, I had the news on because I do want them exposed to some of the things that are happening in the world. But then they got really hung up on the women and children leaving, and why are the daddies staying behind? And that was a tough conversation to have.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were really prepared for that. But of course, what they were asking me is this going to happen to our family? And I had to reassure them, this is at this point, this is a world away. Let's pray for those families. But yeah, this is what's happening.
It's hard questions. I mean, my kids are learning about this in school.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. And you have to tackle them. But I love everything that she said. And I think teaching empathy about this is one of the biggest lessons.
Right. And how can you help?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they want to know.
Of course.
Is
we all
how
want
can
to
we help? Because you do feel helpless in a situation like this.
She mentioned the vacuum, and it's just so true. I mean, they're going to hear about it, and I echo everything you guys have said. To even take it a step further, I mean, my kids noticed the gas prices. We're filling up the pump, and they're asking why, and it's related to this. And it's just something where you talk about you don't know if they are ready for that. Well, imagine the kids there because they weren't ready for what they're dealing with.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.